49ers football, Michael! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna, your filthy casual place for all the filthy casual takes on the world of sports, and yes, that includes my San Francisco 49ers. I am DylanLasagna, here to bring you another recap of my San Francisco 49ers, as they just finished taking on the Atlanta Falcons, just as of the time I'm recording this, mere hours ago, or when you're getting this, a day ago. So yeah, before I get into the 49ers portion of this recap, I want to give credit where credit is due. The Falcons, they played well. They put together a good game plan. Marcus Mariota played really well. Bounced back from two rough games, gashed the 49ers defense, or lack thereof, and head coach Arthur Smith put together a really good game plan on offense and smashed the Niners, well, in fairness, injury-riddled defense. And they absolutely deserve a lot of credit for showing up to a game this past Sunday. And, well, for the 49ers, yeah, they played a lot of 49ers football. Yeah. Remember how I said on my preview, on my preview for this game, this was a game, yes, even though they were riddled with injuries, a game absolutely prone for the bird trap. A game where the Niners should have avoided stepping onto the bird trap, or else they were going to get caught in it and die in it. Well, that's exactly what happened here. And yes, I voiced my displeasure on Twitter like a normal human being would. And yeah, they didn't even have to jump out to a big lead to do it. They didn't even have to do anything to do it. All they had to do for this game in particular was get their absolute asses kicked by a supposedly rebuilding team. And like I said, sure, they had a lot of injuries going into the game. Yes, they had even more going out of it. They didn't have Nick Bosa for this game, who was dealing with the groin injury. Javon Kinlaw just got put on IR a day before. You lose Charvarius Ward during the game. Samson Ebicom keeps going in and out of the game. And the list goes on and on. And then it doesn't also help that the offense that was suddenly on fire for the last 2 weeks, even with a solid Jimmy Garoppolo, gets outclassed by the Dirty Birds. And this was just a horrid game for Kyle Shanahan and his game planning. So, looking at this game, like very early from the start, the effects of not having Nick Bosa, not having Eric Armstead, in the state at all, and not having Javon Kinlaw there, it started to show from the get-go. Without any pass rush whatsoever, even with Drake Jackson, Kerry Hyder Jr., Charles Omenihu, no pass rush to speak of, Marcus Mariota was able to throw at will. He was able to get by, do the QB, the run pass option, the QB runs. He was pretty much able to do almost anything at will, as was the case with his first pass to receiver Olamide Zaccheaus. Yes, I will probably not get that name pronounced correctly, but I do apologize. And yeah, the injuries in the secondary, especially the loss to Emmanuel Mosley, was showcased already from the first pass. And then, of course, yes, like I said, injury mania continued to run wild. Samson Ebicom kept going in and out of the game with knee and Achilles tendonitis from the last game in Carolina. And then Talanoa Hufanga, who has been absolutely banging this season, he left due to concussion, but I'm not sure if he came back, but it seemed like he did. But still, injuries continuing to pile up for this team. They really need to get their strength and conditioning staff a much better one. This is becoming too common of a theme these last couple of seasons for the 49ers. Look, it's Injury Mania 3. Bigger, badder, uglier for this team. So anyway, a few plays later, George Odom, their backup corner, gets burned by some guy named Michael Pruitt. So Falcons take the 7-0 lead, and then oh boy, the offense no better. They go 3 and out on their first drive, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. gets punched out by Grady Jarrett. Jeff Wilson gets the ball punched out by him, and then the Falcons return it for a touchdown, 14-0 Atlanta, midway through the first quarter. And yeah, like as soon as I saw this while I was at work, I was like, fuck, what did the Niners do to get in this position? And it was like, well, that's why. And then the team, I'll say, they showed a little bit of a fight in the second quarter. They eventually tied the game up. Jimmy Garoppolo, he had some solid short throws to George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, who I did say that he would, you have to watch out for him in this game. This could be a game that he finally breaks the mold. He scores the first San Fran touchdown to cut it 14-7. He broke out of a couple of tackles during that pivotal run to get that touchdown. And then Drake Jackson on the ensuing possession, gets a nice sack on Mariota to force an Atlanta punt. And then Ray McCloud gets a nice punt return back to set up the next touchdown for Brandon Ayuk and tied the game. So you're tied up, right? You think the momentum's on your side, tied 14-all. So things then start to go off the rails again for the 49ers. And then it goes off the rails from here on out as my dogs start to bark. But, fuck them. Shut up! The Cordell Patterson-less Falcons run game somehow, some way, just continue to plow through the 49ers run defense. And yeah, they continue to gash them. This was before the end of the first half, by the way. They just continue to plow through the 49ers run defense. And then Drake London gets I'll admit, a nice catch in. And a nice catch into the red zone. So Marcus Mariota ends the first half for the Falcons with the waltz into the end zone, retakes the lead 21-14. And then, the Niners get one more chance at the ball. But then, of course, Jimmy Garbage failed, throws an interception and near the Falcons end zone. And then, yeah, that's how your first half ends. The Niners down 21-14. And then the second half, of course, was no better for the 49ers. Jimmy G was back to being Jimmy Garbage fail. I mean, granted, not everything was his fault. I mean, of course, he made his usual horrible mistakes. But the 49ers, the receiving game, must have ate their Butterfinger. They must have ate Butterfinger for breakfast. They must have ate too much Reese's Puffs. Eat them up. Because they were dropping a lot of catchable balls all second half long, especially Ray McCloud and Charles Omenihu prevented them from, and those drops prevented them from making a chance at a comeback. And, it really affected their game. Affected their game. So for the Falcons, they continue to eat up the 49ers defense all game long, especially Fred Warner. He really had a bad game. He really missed a lot of tackles in this game, and the Falcons essentially sealed the game away 28-14. And then from there, the 49ers did absolutely nothing. No urgency, nothing, just the usual Kyle Shanahan. Let's run the damn ball down their throats, but then nothing happens. So let's try to screen pass, and then nothing happens. And then let's finally get Jimmy G to throw something, but by then it's too late. Game. So the Niners lose this game 28-14, and they're 3-3. I mean, they're still in first place because, well, even though the Rams and the Seahawks won, they have the tiebreakers over them. But what difference does that make? What difference does that make? So, all in all, very bad loss by the 49ers. And yeah, yes, you could say, oh, the injuries. Yeah, I'll give them a little bit pause for that on the injuries, considering that you didn't want to take an inherent risk on the artificial turf, especially with Nick Bosa among others. But the fact that you lose to a rebuilding team, or at least a supposed rebuilding team, like the Atlanta Falcons, it's just baffling to me. It's just really baffling to me. So I will say that at least one positive for this game is Brandon Ayuk. You know, I've been heaping that they should be using him more in the offense, and they absolutely have. They absolutely got him the ball more. Sure, granted that it was only screen passes, but he made the most of his opportunity in this game. So I'll give credit where credit is due in that department. So yeah, either way, the 49ers were back to playing their brand of 49ers football in this game. So yeah, again, they just had many of their starters out, but I will say, Kyle Shanahan, you got to make the most of what you have, man. You got to make the most of what you have. He still had most of his starting offense out there, yet continually assists on running the damn football all the damn time with Jeff Wilson Jr., and nothing's working. Calling the check down screens with Jimmy G and hoping that his receivers, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, or whoever's out there will take care of the rest. And when they don't take care of the rest, or when they're dropping the ball like they ate so much Butterfinger, then what does he do from there? He's like, well, shit, I don't know. I don't know what to do. So he's just like, he looks absolutely lost. And then on rare occasions, he will only let Jimmy G take a deep shot to Ray McCloud or to throw 20 plus yards to Ayuk. And then, my God, Ray McCloud, he had an opportunity to get the Niners into the close to the red zone, and then he drops it. Like, what are you doing, man? My gosh. The Niners played so much Niners football. There, Kyle Shanahan branded Niners football in this game. They really did. So, again, this is just not on Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G, per usual. The receivers and the running game were just not good in this game. The defense, I mean, yes, they are injured, but the starters, including Fred Warner, didn't play great as well. They were missing a lot of tackles. They were getting torched by a Falcons team that doesn't really have a whole ton of starting talent aside from Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So overall, not a good loss by his team. And if you thought that this Dirty Bird Trap edition of 49ers football was a joy to watch this week, well, buckle up, bitches. This week was only the appetizer, because next week, in week 7, when the Niners come back to town, oh boy, that'll be the entree. That'll be the buffet. Because even if the likes of Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Mike McGlinchey, Travis Ward, if they're ready to suit up, ready to go, guess what they're getting on the menu? They're going to be getting Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be getting Travis Kelce. They're going to be getting the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Oh, man. Fresh off of losing to the Buffalo Bills on that Sunday afternoon, they're going to be pissed. They're going to be angry at themselves. They're going to be coming out gunning for redemption in that, well, even though the Chiefs won that Super Bowl 54 matchup, but still, coming off that bad loss to the Buffalo Bills, I mean, it was a close loss, but still, the Chiefs are coming in pissed. They're coming in mad. And guess what? The 49ers are going to be coming in. Yeah, they'll be pissed, but they're going to be down. They're going to be down injured. They're going to be down to injury mania. And what does that equate to? 49ers football. Oh, man. My Lord. That was a lot to take in, huh? So let me know your thoughts on this injury mania-filled, 49ers football-filled loss to the Atlanta Falcons in Week 6, 2022. And sound off, rant off. Tell me how wrong or right I am in the comments below. But anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out of Very Cold Lasagna with another recap of my 49ers in the 2022 season. And until next time, peace out.